the air hybrid attack strategy, a brand new attack strategy that is even easier to use, and it's by far one of the best Town Hall 12 and Town Hall 13 strategies to try out. There's even two different versions that you can use with this, the ZapQuake and the Bat spells. First, let's go ahead and go over the ZapQuake method. The ZapQuake is going to be one of the best ways that you can start off using this attack. It's a very strong variation and very similar to the traditional Zap Dragons. It's just adding those super minions and it makes it extremely powerful. Now, what do you need to know about the lightning spells, no matter if you're Town Hall 12 or Town Hall 13? Now, what's very important is really the number of lightning spells and earthquake. Typically, I would try to bring 5 lightning and 1 earthquake, or you can bring 4 lightning and 2 earthquake. This is just going to open the door to getting rid of 2 different air defenses, and then using a Sui hero to get rid of a 3rd one, and getting rid of the 4th one by using the Royal Champ if you're at Town Hall 13. So those are going to be kind of things that you want to consider if you're going to be doing this. If you don't mind using more earthquakes, try adding 4 lightning and 2 earthquake, and that way you're still able to get rid of the same amount, but you're just using 2 earthquake spells. Now, another thing that you could potentially do is bring 3 earthquake spells and 5 lightning spells. What you're able to do with this is not just get rid of the clan castle and an air defense or maybe a scatter shot around there, but you can also go ahead and weaken up the single inferno to where the Royal Champ, after getting close to it, can pop her Seeking Shield and take down that single inferno along with the Town Hall. Those are just things to really consider and keep in mind, but those are going to be things that you might want to try and do if you're at Town Hall 13 and using the air hybrid. The Sui hero is up next after you do the ZapQuake. Now, typically for Town Hall 12, you're just going to use this to get down any air defenses, along with that just trying to clear out a path for your dragons to move in. Whether this be into a nice area of the base that you can open up by using a super wall breaker, or if there are open wall segments that you can easily walk in there and get rid of other defensive buildings, or if you're just going to be walking your king and queen on the outside and the queen can pick off the air defense. All you have to really do is just use the king to kind of create some pathing and then drop in the queen to get rid of the air defense. But for the most part, you just want to use them to either get rid of an air defense and or just create a funnel for your dragons to move in. Another hero that you can use is the Royal Champion at Town Hall 13. The Royal Champ can be used to take down defensive buildings as she targets those buildings, but along with this, getting rid of air defenses, which is going to be very important. And if you can get rid of the Town Hall with her, that would be even better and it would net you a ton more value. But of course, this is going to be very base dependent. If you're using the ZapQuake variation, I would only use her to create some pathing from the inside of the base. It's going to be very easy for you guys to deal with those ring bases, those box type ring bases using the Royal Champion. So next up, let's talk about funneling and using the dragons. We're going to show you guys this in a full replay to give you an overall idea of how you guys can actually use this attack. For starters, you want to make sure that you're knowing how to funnel in your Sui hero. This means that what you're going to be using is a super minion on one side, and you're going to be using the baby dragon over on the other. What you're able to do here is then control the pathing of the heroes to move in for a specific defense. Now, while you're doing that, you can go ahead and drop in your lightning spells and earthquake in order to get rid of the air defense, and then using the last 3 lightning spells to gain rid of the other one. So that is going to be something that's very important. Now, the reason that we used the Ice Golem was in order to make sure that we're able to get through and into this compartment by making sure that the king and queen aren't taking too much damage early on. So the Ice Golem is there to provide a tank for both the king and queen. And we're able to lure out the clan castle and use the poison to deal with that. The other side of the funnel can be created as long as you have no air targeting defenses around this area. Now, this is really going to give you guys an idea of a couple things. You see that we have easy pathing into the Town Hall. This is a good indication that you may want to use the Stone Slammer. We will be talking about the siege machines later on, but this is going to give you guys a very good idea. We have easy access to it. Another thing that is very important is notice the sweeper placement. By getting rid of one of the sweepers here, the other sweeper's blowing this direction. So we don't need to worry about going in the opposite way, like going in this way, but we can instead go in towards that Eagle artillery instead. So you always want to think about those couple things if you're going to be doing this. Another thing that you want to do is continue to create the funnel after you send in your dragons. Once you know that they're going to be going in, try to use a baby dragon in order to create the other side of the funnel in order to make sure that you're continuously funneling your dragons and super minions into the base. Now this is where you would use the Warren ability. There's no need to use a rage spell when you're using the ZapQuake method, but once they get into the core where there's a lot of DPS, it's time to drop in that rage, provide a ton of support for your dragons, your balloons, and your super minions as you move in. You can of course use a heal spell and a rage in order to keep the dragons and super minions alive. They synergize very well underneath both, and they're able to easily move through. Other than this though, you could use a Stone Slammer up top in order to get rid of something like a Multi-Inferno if it's there. If not, just try to use it to create a little bit more pathing, because you can see here that we have some of the dragons and super minions on the outside. But for the most part, this just overall sums up what you should be doing. There was an attack on this that was a 99% too, so you want to make sure that you're doing this attack quicker than anything else. You want to make sure that you're quick on your Sui hero, you want to make sure that you're quick on your funneling, and you want to make sure that you're quick on sending your dragons into the base along with the minions and stuff like that, and using those rage spells in order to make sure that they're able to easily move through. Now this is not the only variation that we have. Let's go ahead and talk about the Stone Slammer versus the Battle Blimp, and then we'll also talk about the bats as well. Now, when selecting a specific siege machine for this attack, look no further to either using the Battle Blimp or the Stone Slammer. Now, the Battle Blimp is going to be used more often than not if you see the Town Hall in the core of the base. This is much more prevalent, especially with the bat spells, as most of the time you want to try and avoid hitting directly towards the Town Hall unless the splash is around there. But for the most part, the Battle Blimp is a good choice if you're going in away from the Town Hall, away from your entry, or if it's in the core of the base. Now, the Stone Slammer, on the other hand, is better if you're sending in your dragons and minions into the Town Hall and you don't really need to use a siege machine to directly go in for the Town Hall. This is where you can actually use the Stone Slammer instead. Another thing that the Stone Slammer can be used for is just creating some pathing. If you need extra help creating the funnel for your dragons and minions to push in to the Town Hall in the core, it might be a better idea just to use the Stone Slammer to get rid of defenses, knock some splash onto the non-defensive buildings like the collectors and storages, and then along with that, just making sure that it's able to create a nice path for the dragons and minions to move into the Town Hall. That is the only times I would really want to use the Stone Slammer, but I would definitely say it's really going to come down to personal preference. If you're seeing a lot of centralized Town Halls, make sure that you use the Battle Blimp and use either 2 Yetis in there along with using a rage spell on them, or you can go ahead and use Sneaky Goblins. And then if you're going to use the Stone Slammer, try to enter into the Town Hall or use it to create some pathing. Next up is the Bat Spell variation. This one, unlike the ZapQuake, is going to be getting rid of the splash buildings with the dragons and the minions, and then using the bats in a bat wave along with the Royal Champ if you're at Town Hall 13 in order to sweep through the rest of the base. So typically you're going to be looking for the multi-target Infernos, the scatter shots if you're at Town Hall 13, the Wizard Towers, the Eagle Artillery, and the Town Hall if you can get it. Along with that, you want to make sure that you use the battle blimp if you're going to be doing this. More often than not, you are either going to see the town hall in the center, or you're going to see it on the off on the outside, but still on the inside, an offset town hall. So you want to make sure that you're using the battle blimp in order to make sure that you're getting through it. And we will be discussing that a little bit more when we talk about the replay. Another thing that you want to know is the bat wave and what you should be doing with this. With the bat wave, you want to make sure that you're using this in an area where there's not too many defensive buildings, or there's not too many splash buildings immediately, and that way you're able to use the freeze and save them, starting at the wizard towers and the multi-infernos and scatter shots if there are any. But you want the bats to accumulate, that way they're able to one-shot them. But along with the bats, you'll have the royal champ going in through with them in order to make sure that she's going to be tanking for the bats, and along with that, the seeking shield will support the bats as they go from defense to defense. It weakens them up, or it weakens up the defenses with the seeking shield, and the bats can easily take them down with ease. Those are just things that you want to consider, but that's going to give you guys a generalized idea of using the bat spells with the air hybrid. Let's give you guys a replay example of the air hybrid with the bat spells. Now, one of the things that you really want to consider again is that this is a Town Hall 13. However, the same rules apply for a Town Hall 12, except you may want to use the bat spells on the outside, and you won't really need to worry about the scatter shots. So that is going to be a plus for you. But for the most part, take a look at this base. We're going to be creating the funnel by just using a super minion on the left side with a delayed Sui hero, and then we're going to do the same thing over here, but just using the super minion to create the funnel. And then we're just going to send in our dragons and our minions right behind here. Very simple. That's it. That's all we did. We didn't use a Sui hero there. We just used the dragons, the balloons, the super minions to enter in, along with the blimp. Now, this is where you want to use the Warren ability to protect everything, including the super minions, the dragons, and the blimp as it goes for the town hall. You want to make sure that you get that town hall down as quickly as you can, and that way what you're able to do is easily move into these other splash-related buildings and making sure that your pathing is easy for your bats. Now, this is going to be a very, very important part. It's using the bat spells on top of the scatter shot. If you're able to do this, it's very, very much applicable. And what you can do at the bottom part is you can actually use the Royal Champ to tank for your bat spells. So you can see that the Wizard Tower is locked on to the Royal Champ. Along with this, the bats are going to be tanked for. And you just remember, you want to be very, very good on your free spells. You want to place them on stuff like these splash damage, like the Wizard Towers, the Multi-Infernos, but also try to touch on other air targeting defenses that are point defenses, like the Expos, because they hit really, really quickly. But for the most part, that gives you guys a full replay of how you guys can use this. Now, remember, for Town Hall 12s, try to use it as a bat wave. Don't use it on top of a Wizard Tower or multi, but try to make sure that you're able to use it on the outskirts of the base where you can accumulate more of the bats. But at Town Hall 13, I would recommend going ahead and doing that. But for the most part, that's going to give you guys an idea of how you can use the air hybrid here at Town Hall 12 and 13. Let me know what you guys think about the air hybrid attack for Town Hall 12 and Town Hall 13. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video as well in the comments below, and if you guys are having any success with this attack strategy. Remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell for more educational Clash of Clans content like this, and make sure you guys follow me over on the social, join my Discord server, and go ahead and use code CorruptYT in the Clash Champ shop to save 10% off your purchase. Other than that though, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.